Howdy gang, Michelle here, and I know it's been a minute since I've actually done a video for you guys where I'm actually looming, but I'm able to knit just a tiny bit every every week. Hold on, somebody wants to say hello to you guys. Say hi. Now you're not going to say anything? This is your chance. Say hi. Okay. Now, once I put this back, he's going to say hi. Anyway, so because I am able to do a tiny bit, it frees Becca up to work on some bigger projects that I sent her way. One of which she's working on now is a beautiful wrap that you guys are absolutely going to love. So obviously there is no picture for this because I'm not quite done yet. I saved a little bit of the last section to show you guys how to do this. And what I've done, I've had a couple of people message me to ask me if there's a way when I write patterns, if I can, instead of just putting yarn over, because I guess some people aren't understanding, you know, when I put yarn over and knit two together one way or the other, they're not quite understanding that. They might be new. I don't know. So I'm making this super easy for everybody moving forward because you guys know that I'm all about making things easier for everybody. So on here, you'll see that I have an MR and an ML, which is move right, move left, and then knit two together or knit three together, which you'll be using both on this. And by that, I'm going to switch and go to this page. On this chart, you see I have the arrows that says move right or move left. So for example, this is a move left. This is a move right. So that way people completely understand which way they have to yarn over and which ones they're knitting together. So again, I try to make things as easy as possible for everybody because that's what I'm all about. Anyway, let's get started. So on this one, I'm calling it crossings because how I have the pattern, when you actually take a look at this, it looks like a big X. So crossings, okay? And for this, I am using this great yarn that I actually got quite some time ago from my landlady's knit shop. It is Cascade yarn, and it's called Fixation. This particular color is called Dallas. It's purple with a little bit of silver and some black. Absolutely love it. The one thing I love about this the most is it's got incredible stretch. Now this is yarn that could be used obviously for socks. It could be used for beanies if you like a nice stretchy beanie. This has incredible stretch. So when I first saw this and I saw it was 98.3% cotton and only 1.7% spandex, I thought, how stretchy can it actually be with only such a small amount of spandex? But look at this. This is absolutely incredible stretch. I love this stuff. So this piece that I have here, when I'm going to be keeping this, and when I measured my head, I go from the base of my head, like where my head and my neck meet, all the way up to the top of like if you're looking at a baby, where their soft spot would be. Okay, that's where you want to do a complete measure to see what size for a headband you're going to want or need. So for me, I'm going to go about 20, but when I connect this, I'm not going to connect it, which you can. I'm not going to connect it like this where the two ends are connected and do it this way. I thought about doing something a little bit different, which once I'm done with this section, I'm going to be working on for you guys in this video. I'll come back and show you how I connect them, but I'm going to use a hair tie at the connection point on this side and this side, just to give a little extra stretch, because for me, I have a lot of really thick hair and I don't want to cut it off in the middle of where my chart is. I want to go that full thing so I have that full effect. And I'm going to show you guys how I do that. So let's get started. For this, I'm using obviously the KB 3/8 small gauge loom, and you only need 13 pegs on this. Now, if you're going to use thicker yarn and a bigger gauge, it's going to be much wider. Okay, so if you want something that's much wider, you can kind of see the image right there. Hold on, let me turn this over so we can, there, you can see it now. Look at that. If you want something that is a thicker yarn and you want it wider than what, you know, this is going to be. So this right here is, stop it, it's about 2 inches wide. Okay, and again, it's got great stretch. Look at that. So I purposely wanted it only that wide because this is something I'm probably going to use quite a bit. If you want wider, you can go wider. If you want thinner, you'll have to use even smaller gauge. So on this one, I marked off 13 with my tape. And my first and my last pegs, you're just going to either do a turn and wrap or a clean edge. So for this, I just did turn and wrap on both sides. Because it's not really that big of a deal. It's only going to be in my hair. But if you're going to do something a little bit bigger, that's going to be much more noticeable, I suggest clean edges. So I put that in the pattern on here where it says on pegs 1 and 13, you're going to do clean edges, which is where you knit and purl the same peg. But if you want to do a turn and wrap, if you're using a thin yarn like what I'm using here, and you want to do the turn and wrap, that's how it's going to look. So I don't think it will be a problem. And we should be good to go. So let's get started. On this here, if you have stitch markers by and you want to use stitch markers, you totally can. I only use stitch markers on the first and the last peg, so I knew that's where I needed to turn and go. But if you want to use it for the others, you're totally welcome to. Sometimes I'll put them over here on this side, which is this side, if I want to, you know, just go much quicker. But obviously I can't loom as quick as I used to before. So I have my tape, marked, as you can see, 1 through 11, and then again, yeah, 1 through 11. Yeah, so I have 13. Okay. I almost forgot. So my first and my 13th again are just my turn and wraps, and then I'm working these 11 here, which is what the chart shows. Okay, so there's 13, so it's 11 plus 2. So for this first one, as you can see, I'm going to move this first peg over to 2, and then I'm taking 10, or excuse me, 11 and moving it to 10. And then every even row is just knit, and that sets us up for the next way to move things over. So for example, let's get started on this one. So I've already knitted off my turn and wrap. So I'm going to knit my first one, knit my second one, go back and grab my first one, give myself a little extra yarn, and put that down here on 2. So now I have 2 that I need to knit off on my way back with the knit row. Okay, so then I'm going to just knit straight across. Sorry, I'm much slower than what you guys were used to seeing me knit at. But at least I'm able to do it a little bit. Okay, so here's 10, 11, and then this is my last one, which I'm going to knit off now. Then I'm going to come back to 11, give myself a little extra space, and bring that over to 10. So right now, on this first one, peg 1 and peg 11 at the end should be empty, and 10 and 2 have 2 strands on it. Now on the way back, you're going to bring your working yarn in front of the empty ones and then knit off these 2 on 10. Oh, I can't do it like that. So grab it and lift it off. I have to do a reverse purl when it comes to doing my knit offs of 2 or more, because it puts too much tension here. Look how glittery my glove is. It puts too much tension here on my thumb, and I don't have any cartilage left in there right now. So it grinds my bones together if I do it too hard. And then I'm just going to knit all the way back. And I'm getting ready to come up on the second peg that has 2 strands. Grab it, pull it under, and there we go. And turn and wrap. All right, so now we are actually done rows 1 and 2. So 1 was where we went from here over and we moved everything. 2 is where we knitted back and knitted 2 off of everything. So now with 3, we're going to knit peg 1. We're going to move 2 to 3, knit all the way across until we get to 10, move 10 to 9, and then knit off 11. So knit 1, knit 2, knit 3, and then give yourself a little extra yarn. Come back to 2 and move 2 to 3. And then you're going to knit all the way to peg 10. And you're going to move 10 to 9. Actually, you're just going to move, or you're going to knit to 11 and then go back and grab 10 and move 10 to 9. So there's 9, 10, 11. So now I'm going to give myself a little bit of slack, put 10 onto 9, knit off on my last peg, come back and knit off 11, and you're going to have an empty one on 10 and also on 2. So you're going to bring your working yarn in front, knit those 2 on 9 together, sorry, knit all the way back until we get to the next 2, which are on 3. And you're just going to keep following this pattern. Here's knit 2. Working yarn in front, knit off 1, and knit off my last peg. I'm going to turn and wrap and knit that off. All right, so we just knitted rows 3 and 4. So we're going to continue this chart. 5 is moving 1 to 2 and 3 to 4, knit, 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 and then 9 to 8, and then 11 to 10. And then you just keep repeating this pattern as long as, or as many times as you want to get it as long as you want. For me, this is going to be 4 that has given me this length here, which is about, I want to say 14 inches is what I measured it. Let's try, put this here, and I don't want to stretch it out too much. Whoops. All right, so yeah, we're just off camera. Oh, there you go. So you can see it's just about 14 inches right now, and it's going to give me about another 3 or so inches with this section that I'm going to do. I'm going to finish that, and then I'll meet you guys back here for the bind off using the hair tie and show you guys how I do that. All right, so stay tuned, keep blooming. Alrighty gang, so as you can see, this is off the loom now, and I have one end attached with my hair tie, and it's just a regular elastic hair tie. And I'm going to show you how I put this on here. And as you can see, this is my cast on, and this was my cast off, and I left a long enough tail on my cast off to be about the same length as this one, because I'm going to use this to attach this. And then that way, For somebody like me, if you're making this where it could be even more stretchy, or even if you're using yarn that is not stretchy, this will actually help give that little bit of stretch to make it fit pretty much any size head, depending on if it's an adult or a child. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you're going to do is get your needle, your yarn needle, and hold on. I got to see this without seeing it through the camera. There we go. All right. So I have it threaded through, and make sure you don't twist this unless you want it twisted like a Mobius. I don't, and I know that this is my right side because it's got my knit stitches, and even the wrong side looks really super cool. So, I mean, it's really whatever you want it to be, whatever side. Okay. So I'm going to start basically by flattening this out, my hair tie out. And I'm going to run my needle right through this top part to go in like an extra stitch here. And then make sure I'm flat. I am just going to almost mattress, whoops, see what I did there? I wasn't paying attention. I thought it was around it. All right, come on back. Oh, no, I had that right. Okay, never mind. This is difficult to do when you're looking at it through the camera. Okay, so let's try this again. Now, I'm going to put my needle through here, and then I'm going to, this is why I want to flatten it out so I can see the space that I need to work with on this. And you can obviously shift this around. Actually, I'm going to come around this way. It'll be easier for me to stitch it like that. So you want to just come through the hair tie and grab the stitch. And try and keep it as flat as possible as you're working it, so that way all your stitches don't bunch at one end. And you're basically going to stitch right through the cast on and cast off areas. Again, trying to do this through the camera and look at it and make sure it's lined up properly. It is a lot harder than I make it seem. And you're going to do this pretty much all the way across so that you have a nice secure hair tie. Come on. There we go. Sorry, I'm taking so slow. It feels weird with my hand holding it this way through the camera and trying to look at it. It's like trying to thread a needle with a microscope is really how it feels. All right, so a couple more and then I can tie it off completely. Give me a little tail. There we go. All right, this is going to be my last one right here. There we go. And what I'm going to do is it comes through. I'm going to run the yarn through this way and make a little knot off right there. And scoot this. Ah, I dropped my needle. Hold on. Ow. Good gravy. This is what happens when I haven't loomed in so long. I damage myself. All right. Okay, so I've knotted this off, and now I'm just going to weave this in. go through on the inside and just run it along just like you would anything else that you're going to weave in the ends. Come on. Oh my God. Go. There we go. And you don't have to go all the way across. And just bring that tail through, and then get your scissors and snip. And there you go. So this is the back. This would be at the back of the head, and this is the front. And again, if you don't have stretchy yarn, this will make it stretchier for you, and you can slide this. See, it moves around easy. So there you go. I hope you guys love it. I know I will. I'll be getting lots of use out of this. And look at all these fun colors that my landlady's knit shop has. So this one is called Carnation. This one is called Hydrangea. And this one is called, I'm going to call it, oh, here it is, Party Mix. Party Mix. And you don't even really use that much of it. Like this, whoa, sorry. I only used a tiny bit. I still have a bunch of this left. So, you know, I'm going to find fun things to do with that. So there you go, gang. Thank you so much for joining me. It was really great making a new video for you guys. Hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit more where, you know, if Becca's working on big projects, I can work on something small, so that way I don't feel like I'm overloading her. So thanks so much for joining me. Happy looming, and love y'all bunches. Bye.